you see how it sounds with that. Because, good Lord, for some fucking reason, I can already dropping bombs there. It's like swearing there. Not monetized to begin with. But I cannot stop peeking that goddamn thing. Instead of the whole, well, I don't want to be whatever, so I can't get reelected again. You know, I don't want to put my name on that bill. If I put my name on that bill, you know, this might come back to look bad on me. All right. Nope, instead I'm going to talk about something that I'm probably going to talk about on Tier Stream. That's on Rumble, Midnight Show. So the one shout out he actually gets. And that's Netflix's new Devil May Cry animated series. It's basically supposed to be an American anime. I honestly think it looks terrible. The art style looks mediocre at best for what it should be. Luckily this time they decided to go, okay, we're going to have actual action scenes that you can legitimately see. You know, the fighting, instead of like the original anime that for Devil May Cry that looked really well and was very lore accurate, but all of the action was implied. And it's like, bro, you're taking something that's based off a hack and slash game. Like, you're meant to see the fighting, not see implied fighting. So that is the argument I tend to get into. They always want to pull the same thing. I'm like, well, it looks so pretty. Going back to the current Devil May Cry. The guy who wrote it, it's like Addy something. This one is heavy lore accurate, except for it's not. Like, quite literally, they've gone through the playing Green Day's American Idiot, because it's supposed to be based upon more of when I guess it would be more like when Devil May Cry 3 came out, which would probably still be the best game. I would actually consider it better than the first game. Devil May Cry 2 is not that good, but they had a different guy doing it. And 4 is mediocre, and I have a whole different myriad of issues with 5 that have nothing to do with the gameplay. It's more with the story and characters. But they did the same thing they're wanting to do to, like, was it the Rings of Power thing of, like, having the orcs to where they have families, and, you know, they're just the downtrodden individuals, and it's not their fault. They're not the bad guys, don't you know? It's actually them humans. They're the real bad guys, and you can do that. I'm not saying you can't, but it's like, you already have a series that says demons are not that way. They don't have families like that. They fight each other constantly. The only reason order even happened in the realm, the underworld, you know, the realm of the demons, was because of Mundus and Sparta, his right-hand man. And then it was Sparta betrayed Mundus, but he couldn't defeat Mundus. It was basically the whole thing of, like, he sealed him. And, you know, at the end of the first game, they even say it's like Dante doesn't kill Mundus, he just seals him. And I ain't been out this way in forever. And the further it goes into it, majority of the demons, while they have some emotions, they don't really care. Like, they're after the blood of humans because it's a very, very useful thing to them, and something they can feed on. Since they do live in the underworld, they don't necessarily just feed on humans, but they constantly clash with each other, and the strongest are the ones who rule. It's not even getting to, like, where I'm at watching Frieren, which I would recommend so far from what I've seen of it. But yeah, they constantly want to make it that Dante struggles in so many of the fights, which, yeah, he does in some of them, but majority of the boss fights that would be you struggle, it's like you controlling Dante are the one who's struggling, but it's implied that there was no struggle with him. Like, he didn't have that issue. Man, that river's flooded a bit. Oh yeah, it's flooded because the fucking little park there is flooded as well. Around it. God dang. Well, the private property, not park technically. And it just keeps falling into that whole thing of, oh no, don't you know? The creatures that are supposed to be evil and have no sympathy and mercy of killing humans, they're not actually the bad guys. They're the ones who have been mistreated this entire time. And again, some of them can do it well. Most of them don't. Like, the way they went about Has-Been Hotel for its first episode. No, fuck, we're getting way off subject. And that just... I think it's Adi, or I think it's Adi. It's like ADI, I believe, or something. He'd have been fine if he'd have said, "Hey, we're doing a redesign, a rethink, or a Dante in a different universe, and this is the way it is in this universe." Instead, it'd have been one thing. And I don't have a problem with the people who like the show, other than the fact that it's like, because of you guys in that whole thing, they're just going to continually think this is okay. It just seems like, in all reality, for so many of these things, they don't care about the actual show lore, when majority of the fans, that's what they're wanting, is a show or a movie that's game lore accurate. And instead of just basically taking everything and completely shitting on everything. Like, at least the reboot of Devil May Cry, DMC Devil May Cry, they went a different way, and that one was that, apparently there is a heaven and hell, but Mundus had taken over the world and people didn't know it. Like, demons existed in the world, just people didn't know it. And that's the whole thing on that, is them basically being shown that it's like at the end of the DMC Devil May Cry, of demons being exposed to the world. And I got issues with that game as well, of the whole fact of like, okay, you're taking writing liberties of saying, a Nephilim is the offspring of a demon and an angel. No, Nephilim are the offspring of angels and humans. That's the biblically accurate way you're going to go about it. Especially if you're going to have it that your characters are based off the frickin' Divine Comedy anywhere. Or it's like, Dante's Inferno anyways. Dante being the one to survive and do everything. He's the one that has it that he travels through all of that. And Virgil necessarily doesn't, because, in the actual story of Dante's Inferno, Virgil came before all of that, but was a pagan, so because of the way Dante wrote it, he's denied access into heaven, but that's going besides points and things and whatnot. Because that's where shit gets weird now. Fully understand it. Wendigo does a pretty cool video on it. He does all three of those, but like the Devil May Cry series, it's always been what it's known for. Over 90% of the demons are meant to be evil. They don't have these families that they are like downtrodden refugees. And myself, just like many others, are tired of the thought subversion process of being like, oh, we're gonna make the people who were bad, no, they're actually the disenfranchised. And far too many of them want to go and say, these ones that you consider evil, it's because you see them as, minorities, as like African Americans or whatever. And it's like, no, the only people who go into that are you, because, well, you're a racist, you asshole. Let's just go side tangent. should not have brought Virgil back. Virgil should have died as he did in the first fucking game. Now, for the people that might say, well, wait a minute, Virgil was in the third game. Yeah, because the third game's a prequel. That's just the way it goes. And like, I'm not even going to complain that for the TV show, they actually got the guy who does the voice acting for Nero in the games as the voice acting of Dante. It's not who I'd really want, but it's okay considering it's supposed to be a different adaptation. And he might have had other things he was going to do and whatnot. Pretty much for the new DMC, it's like Devil May Cry TV show, it's man, I am all over the damn place. I just don't like the way the artwork looks. The animation style just doesn't seem that good. It seems like they're doing the same thing a lot of them are. They're just borrowing from something else. And I don't know what it's supposed to be, if like they're having lady wield devil arms as well, because that just doesn't make sense. And for anyone who's like, the hell do you mean by lady? Like, that's what Dante calls her, because in the third game of Devil May Cry, you know, the prequel, you meet the woman Lady, who is the ancestral daughter of the priestess that helped seal or break the connection between the underworld and the human world with the help of Sparta. So her father, who was tempted by etymology and whatnot for more power, had brought her there along with Virgil and Dante to use their blood to break said seal. Storyline was real subpar, but had the one chick that actually really funny when you think about it. It means even though for so much of Virgil hating humanity, hating humans, he still found a woman that he liked, banged, and had a kid. And from everything we're aware of, technically Dante is still a virgin. I mean, that's at least the thought process, because it's not believed that he's going to bang the demon Trish, who looks like his mother. And we know it wasn't, like, his relationship is really weird with Lady as well. Which in 3, like I said, like after the whole thing with her dad, she throws away the name that she was given by her father and adopts the name Lady, because Dante, when walking away at one point, just says, "Whatever, Lady." Alright, so next road I see, that's not going to be a dirt road, just don't feel like going down a dirt road. I can make a left turn onto, I'll start doing that to head more northbound. Since I'm currently heading east by northeast. But in 4 you have Nero, he comes up, he has the whole thing of an awakening part of his demonic blood in his right arm, which allows him to do some of the things of closer to a devil trigger in a way, but like a partial of it. He's able to resurrect Yamato by bringing it back together because of his bloodline. And it goes through him before 5, or the catalyst for 5 is a weakened and decaying Virgil finds Nero, is able to somehow rip his arm off, his devil arm off, that has Yamato in it. Somehow was able to use that to cut into the fabric of reality, which it's never shown Yamato to be able to do. Goes height and uses that as a way to separate his demon half from his human half. To then, which is basically supposed to make a specific, he has the whole thing of his demon making the one specific fruit and whatnot that it does eat, but gets beaten by Dante after he basically gets a second devil awakening by basically making the Force Edge and his sword rebellion one in a way. I'll still say they should have left Virgil dead. It kind of gets in that whole thing of a character gets, people fall in love with a character and they get pissed when that character like either dies or gets killed or moves on to something else. Like, why for that? Why that he needs to be brought back? Which is always funny because there's a subset of the internet that wants to be like, oh, it's fascism or whatnot, because apparently making a species of creature that does not care for human life and will do whatever it wants in that whole thing and just will kill when they so choose to because of feeding or whatnot, that does not feel any, I guess, moral indignation might be the word I'm looking for, of another species. Acid is bad. I probably fucked that up hardcore. But yeah, they basically want to be mad of shows or whatnot that'll do that, to where they'll have a species they're like, hey, this species just wants to kill, and it specifically feeds upon humans or whatnot, so it doesn't. Oh, I could have brought Onimusha into it as well, because they have it in there that, yeah, like, humans will make deals with the Genma, otherwise known as the demons, but the demons do not care for majority of them. They're only going to make deals with specific ones anyways. Well, like, I've just always found it funny on Twitter in that whole thing of the people like, I don't get it. Why do they want to say that the demons are bad? And it's like, bro, did you not pay attention to anything of this? Like, Ep6 were pretty explicit at why demons are bad. Oh god, my neck is still sore. Fucking slept wrong apparently. That's the great thing about getting older.